I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, heart's full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank, big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. My friends, welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. I need to start by saying my normal scheduled interview today with Sean Hens has to be rescheduled. So I'm taking questions of me. They can be social media related. They can be questions if you want to learn more about me as a person, about my background in the military, or my background of living for almost 62 years. If there's a question I'm not comfortable answering, I'll just say so, but I'm pretty much an open book. Having said that, we have a question already from LD Sweets saying, what makes me go every day? Probably the biggest thing that it keeps me waking up and going every day is being here for my family, for Tabby and for Lizzie, and then for Olivia and her family and her baby, which is on the way. It's a blessing every day to be awake and to do what I do. It's a blessing to be able to come in and to my Clapper family and friends and socialize, which I need more of. So, Dragon Lady, welcome in. I have been well. It has been a long time. So, Lena, I think the best thing that keeps me going is love of my family, more so than anything. And then, what's the one common mistake people make on social media, and what would you say to help them? I think the most common mistake on this app in particular is from the people coming over from places like TikTok and asking to be followed. When you go into whatever your social media app of preference is, get a read on it. Find out what makes that app what it is. On Clapper in particular, we are a community-based app. We like developing relationships. We're not just a follow for follow app like TikTok is. So going in and say, follow me and I'll follow you, doesn't work here. People much prefer that you come in and be social, ask questions, get to know people. But as far as what works for the other apps, I don't spend as much time on them to know as good an answer. Paul asked, if I hadn't joined the Navy, what would my career choice have been? That's a really tough question because I joined after working in a city park for a year in Virginia Beach. I love the work I did in the Navy and the work I did afterwards, working out of a toolbox and turning wrenches. So it would probably have been something of a mechanic type nature, whether it was auto mechanics or, working on the kind of equipment I worked on. Do I do any volunteer work? And if so, could I explain what I do? Not officially, Lena. I do have a few veteran friends that suffer from PTSD. I won't say I counsel them. I will say I listen to them, especially when they're having a tough day or really getting close to that edge of becoming one of the 22 a day. What those guys need more than anything is they need somebody to talk to that will listen, not try to fix them necessarily, but offer suggestions if necessary. But they really need somebody to listen and understand, get an understanding of what they're going through, and let them know it's okay that they feel the things that they feel, and it doesn't mean, that you have to stop doing what you're doing because of that. It's the best piece of advice I've ever been given. And who was it by? Honestly, best piece of advice I've ever been given was to be myself, and the person that gave me that piece of advice was my mother. When I was 18 and just graduating high school, and it's something I've taken to heart and I've lived by all my life. So Lena asked, in my opinion, what are pros of being on social media, and one pro of being on social media and one negative of being on social media. One pro for me is that it gives me an opportunity, a means of socializing, which I do a lot less of, because I rarely leave my house. If I didn't have Tabby and Lizzie, I could be a shut-in pretty easily. So a good pro of social media is it gives you a nice outlet to socialize. One of the negatives about social media is people tend to forget when you're talking on the social media through an app like a phone. You're still talking to human beings. You still need to take into consideration that they have feelings, that they can be offended and upset. And I'll be the first to say it's anybody's choice to be offended, but it's also your choice as a person not to say something or do something offensive because you're sitting behind a keyboard and you don't have the direct physical repercussions from it. So to me, that's the biggest negative. People don't consider that when they're dealing with people that they talk to through an app. How hard was it going from military life to civilian life? It wasn't that hard, but then I grew up in a military family, so I kind of got to see it. And with my dad, my stepdad, both were Navy, and I saw them both after they got out. My dad got out, my stepdad retired. So when I got out, it was easy transition to a job that I was qualified for. I had a lot of really good friends in Virginia Beach, which is where I stayed when I got out of the Navy. And having good people around you helps to make that adjustment from the military to not being military anymore. What made me decide to join the Navy? Well, I was 20 years old and I was working in a city park for just above minimum wage. Welcome in mistaken 420. And I really didn't have, I had a year of college and then I couldn't afford college. I wanted to do something that gave me more of a direction in life and that prepared me for a career. So I decided to join the Navy. When I took the ASVAB test and my score said I could do anything I wanted when I joined, so I chose the career path I went to, and then I spent my 6 years active, 5 years reserves. Welcome in, no limit. What is something that I wanted to try that I haven't yet? Oh, that's a tough one, Lena. Probably. And something I've always wanted to do that I probably shouldn't do anymore because of my back was I've always wanted to ride a motorcycle, to drive a motorcycle. I never did when I was younger and could afford it. I always drove a car. And then when I got older and started appreciating them more was when I started having a lot of back pain. And a lot of my biker friends tell me a motorcycle with a bad back is a bad combination. Welcome in, Corinne. My normal scheduled interview guest today was Sean Hintz. He's not available. So I'm allowing you guys to interview me. A crazy story that happened while I was in the military. I was not in military intelligence or anything. Craziest story I had was the 2-day tour of Israel, of Jerusalem, when we were there, which included a visit to Bethlehem and the birthplace of Jesus. And, they built a church over the place he was crucified and laid out. A lot of biblically, historically relevant places. And it was really awe-inspiring. For example, when you read the Bible and they mention the Sea of Galilee, what you're imagining is this huge body of water. Well, the Sea of Galilee is not big. It's long, but it's narrow. You can stand on one shore, look the width of the Sea of Galilee, and see the other shore. That's how small it is, or it was when I was there. Also, the Jordan River. There are a lot of places of the Jordan River you could step across it from shore to shore of the Jordan River, because you also said it's said to be the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Not birthplace, but where he was baptized. And there's places along the Jordan River that you could baptize a toe, maybe. That's about it. How did I become such an amazing person? What I would say to that one, Corinne, is I remember the lessons I learned from my mother, primarily my mother, because she was my number one caregiver and caretaker when I was growing up. My dad was not a great father. My stepfather was a bastard, but my mother was a solid, continuously solid person in my life. She's the one that helped me define my morals and values and living the kind of way I want to live. And so if you think I'm amazing, that means my mother did a good job of raising me, because I lived my life in a way that even at almost 62 years old, I would still make her proud. And I do it. I try every day to make my mother proud, even at 62, almost 62. Lena asked, how did me and my wife meet? You mean Tabby, or the person I was married to for 10 years before I divorced her? So Lena, if you could, I assume you want to know it's Tabby, right? All right, we'll go with the wife. With the wife I actually had first. I met her when I first moved to Kansas City. I decided to start coaching Little League baseball again, like I used to do in Virginia. So I found a league. I became a coach, and the woman I married was the mother of one of my players. I met her when I was introducing myself as a coach. We talked and ultimately got married, had 2 kids. And because of my 2 kids, I can't say it was a mistake, but it was not a good marriage. She's a classic abuser, and she's a narcissistic sociopath, and she hasn't changed. She's still that way. And that's ultimately what led to the breakup of the marriage. Is you can only take so much abuse before you're finally done, and you get out and protect yourself. How I met Tabby? I met Tabby through an app on my cell phone. We talked long distance for about a year, and then I moved her out here to Missouri to live with me, and we've been together almost 7 years now. Tabby and Lizzie are best thing ever happened to me. She takes excellent care of me, and I'm absolutely, positively blessed to have her in my life. Paul asked, of all the places I visited, where was my favorite besides the one I just mentioned? Probably my favorite place was Rome. I was home ported in Gaeta, Italy. Hey, Holly. I was home ported in Gaeta, Italy for 2 years. And in those 2 years, I visited several other countries in some amazing historical places. Rome is a wonderful combination of old and new. It's a modern city, but the Colosseum is there. And there's a lot, the city is old and it's been there a long time, so there's a lot of old Rome still there as well. Probably the next favorite place after that was when I went to Athens, Greece, got to visit the Acropolis, got to meet a lot of Greek locals, and really had a fabulous time there. One place that I have not visited that I would love to visit is Australia. We had an opportunity. My stepfather got orders to Australia, and it would have been 3 years there, meaning he brought the family, and I was 16 or 17 when he got those orders. And I could have lived for 3 years there, but he turned the orders down, and I've never had an opportunity to visit Australia since. It's one of those places I've always wanted to go there, and I may not ever be able to, but it's a dream I have, and having met some wonderful people from Australia here, like Aussie Kaz and Matt Bughead, and Heather, whose last name escapes me at the moment, just makes me wish I could visit Australia that much more. Okay, what do we got, folks? I think I caught up. Okay. My favorite dish to eat, spaghetti. I've been a spaghetti man all my life. My mother is half Italian. My grandmother was born in Trapani, Sicily. And my mother when I was a kid, we never went out to an Italian restaurant to eat, because my mother felt like, why go to an Italian restaurant when they can't cook an Italian dish as well as she can. My favorite thing to cook, there's a casserole my mother taught me to make. We call it pork chop casserole. And basically what it's like pork chops and sauteed onions on a bed of rice mixed with tomato sauce, green peppers and such, and then you bake it, and so it comes out like pork chops over Spanish type of Spanish rice. It's really, really good stuff, though. Have I attended any big sporting events over the years? No, the biggest, I've been to several Kansas City Royals baseball games, and the year they won the World Series, I was there the day they clinched their division. But I've never been to any big sporting events. No problems, Lena. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for the questions and helping out. And let me see, what was Danny's question? How long did I serve in the Navy? I served 6 years on active duty, another 5 years as a reservist. My intention when I joined the reserves was to retire from the reserves. And then they started treating their reservists like active duty, and I said to hell with that. If I wanted to stay active duty, I'd still be active duty. So after my 5 years of reserve time, I just let it go. I'm just a veteran now. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time in the Navy. I enjoyed the places I got to see and the people I got to meet. But I still have a bit of a problem with authority. Didn't like being told what to do. And you kind of can't avoid that when you're in the military. Yeah, my dad went from active duty Navy to being in civil service. And I think he was a GS-15 when he died. I don't know exactly what he did. I know he was in charge of a lot of money. What do I enjoy most about Clapper? What makes me want to come on here most days? The friends that I've made, people. I've been blessed to meet several awesome creators on here. Fancy Nancy 547, Gangster Granny, Dark Psycho, the Vamp and Dan, and I can never remember. I don't remember what their names here are. I know they've changed a couple times. But the opportunity to meet some amazing people and then to get a chance to meet them in person, that's pretty awesome. Holly, you're another one. You're another one times. But the opportunity to meet some amazing people and then to get a chance to meet them in person, that's pretty awesome. Holly, you're another one. You're another one of the amazing people I've met on this app. So is Corinne. So is Paul and Danny. Guys are... And the people on here, is what keeps me coming back. It's why I don't let the negative stuff run me off the app, and I won't. So I'm here. You guys are stuck with me. My father was a Vietnam veteran, Danny. Also Navy. My dad and I did the exact same job in the Navy too. We were both machinist mates. Thank you, Holly. Yeah, I would agree with that, Danny. We built a family on here, and I believe the strongest family you have are the friends that become family, because it's the family you choose. Oh, excuse me. All right, sorry about that, guys. I got to take a shot, but I'll continue to answer questions as long as you guys want to ask them, because I can take my shot and still do this. So, next question. Who inspires my journey on Clapper? There's not just one. I have several inspirations for doing what I do on here. One of them just left, LD Sweets. And Uncle Timmy, founder of Team Positive Waves. They're amazing people. And Steve, LUFC official, is another one over there on your side of the ocean, Paul. There are other people that inspire me for different things. One thing I love about Paul, Fear the Reaper, and Gangster Granny and their crew is they accept me as I am. No questions, no conditions. And that really means a lot. I do the best I can to be exactly who I am all the time, whether I'm on the app or in person. So if you've met me, if you know me on the app and then you met me in person, you're going to find out I'm the same both places. I don't change who I am to come onto this app. So, chances are good if you like me on Clapper, you probably like me in person. Well, thank you, Danny, and you're pretty amazing yourself, brother. And for those of you that don't know, in June, I will be meeting with Gangster Granny and her man, Ted, who's on here, Stamina Man, when they get married. And I'll meet some of my Clapper friends there. And then Dark Psycho, which is our friend Jess, is getting married in October. Paul, our screen recorder, Fear the Reaper, will be there, and I'll get to meet him for the first time too. So I'm really looking forward to that. If you have the opportunity to meet people on here, to me, I'd say take it. The best people, I've been blessed with the people I meet, and they're the same on here as they are in person, which is what I try to be. I try to be the same on here as I am in person. I don't want anybody to decide they like me on here and then meet me in person and be disappointed. That would be kind of a shame. Truthfully, Paul, he asked if I hadn't found Clapper, what social media would I be on instead? Hey, Star. I was on TikTok when I came over here, and I haven't deleted my TikTok account, but I don't like spending time on TikTok. They don't have that community basis like we do. And I find welcome in, Ronan. I find all of TikTok to be really annoying at its best, and a lot worse at its worst. I like Facebook for keeping in touch with family and my old military buddies, but there's not really the opportunity to interact with people on there like there is on here. If I didn't have Clapper, I probably wouldn't spend much time on social media. So that'd be the best answer I got for that. Guys, if you don't know, and you see his name is motherfucking Ronan, Ronan is an amazing person, a great friend. And if you're not following Ronan, you ain't following nobody. And Ronan, today we are interviewing, you guys are interviewing me because Sean Hintz was unavailable today, so I'm going to have to reschedule him. So I'm just allowing you guys to ask questions of me. Anything you want to know, any question you want me to answer, to the best of my ability, I'll answer them. I am an open book. My Star, you're going to believe, you may not believe this, my favorite color is pink and has been for longer than I've been a father. And my oldest child is 26, so. Yes, there are a lot of amazing people in here, Ronan. I don't disagree with that. Well, I know you knew, Ronan. And part of this is so that people who watch the interview later on my YouTube channel, or who aren't here today to hear it firsthand, can hear the answers. What habits annoy me the most? First and foremost, any kind of dishonesty. I hate liars. I hate people who cheat people. I hate people that steal. Any kind of dishonesty is a real problem for me. Now, as far as physical habits that annoy me, nose picking maybe. I know people do it. I do it, but it's annoying to see it. I don't want to see it. So do I, Danny. I try to be honest with everybody. That's why some of the hate that I get on here confuses me, because it's all based on, excuse me for saying so, it's all based on bullshit. But I got a lot of solid friends on here, and I appreciate them all. I appreciate you coming in, Star. Any other questions? Because we still got a good half an hour to go. I got a question. I'll answer a question I've been asked before because nobody has asked it this time, and that is how did I become BigTank? And the fact is, back in my 30s, I used to play basketball almost every day. And one day I was playing against a guy who was 5'8" and about 130 pounds. Welcome in, brother. And he was trying to guard me, and I was 6'2" and about 225, 230. And he kept trying to move me away from the basket. And after several minutes of not moving me at all, he said, "Man, moving you is like trying to move a tank." And people just started calling me Tank after that. And then when I got on social media and I was trying to come up with a name, well, I'm a big guy, so BigTank just seemed natural to me. The hardest part of boot camp for me, being separated from my family and friends. The physical part of it for Navy boot camp was not hard. Welcome in, Smoked Out. I was on the USS Belknap and the USS Lawrence. And I was a machinist mate. So, I mean, I enjoyed running. I was part of our athletic team that won the tug of war against all other boot camp companies while I was there. But having company commanders get in your face and scream at you didn't sit too well with me. But I was used to it from my stepfather being that kind of a bastard. all things considered, Navy boot camp was not difficult. I'm sure Army and Marine Corps boot camp are more physically demanding. My sports heroes, that's a tough one because I don't really have heroes per se. Probably the closest I had to a sports hero was Cal Ripken Jr. Used to play for the Baltimore Orioles. Simply because he was a genuinely decent person. I remember one of the infielders, one of the better infielders, got a new contract, and he ended up making a lot more a year than Cal Ripken was making. So reporters went to him and says, "Aren't you going to ask for a new contract since so and so is getting so much money?" And his answer was, "No, I signed the contract that they offered me. I agreed to it, and I'm going to honor it." To me, especially in the age of free agency, for somebody to agree to honor their contract until the end of the contract is unheard of. It's amazing, and he would say that and show that kind of respect. How can you not be inspired by somebody like that? Thank you for the gifts, my friend. A genuinely good guy, Paul, for sure. A person in history I find most fascinating or try to emulate. Probably, there are a few. Audie Murphy. I think he's one of the most decorated war heroes we have. But he was not a big guy. He just, he was just very courageous, and he did what he had to do. As far as, I don't know, I try to be honest. Who in history, I don't, you'll never hear me say I want to be like any politician, for example, because they got to bullshit people to get elected in the first place. I don't necessarily like that. I used to play politics when I was younger, but I've just gotten tired of it as I've gotten older. So there's only a handful of politicians from the past that I have any respect, that I could say I truly respected. And even with them, I'll find negatives. Like Ronald Reagan is one I respected. John Kennedy was one I respected. And how could you not respect Abraham Lincoln for standing up to half the country and saying, slavery is a thing that needs to be in our past. So there are definitely heroes that you can have out there. And keep them coming, Ronan. I'm ready. Who is my idol in my life and why? That's an easy question, but the answer is going to be somebody you guys absolutely don't know. The idol in my life is my best friend. His name is Ron Suggs. He lives in Massachusetts. He and I have been friends for 46 years. I've said in the past, and I'll say it again right to this day, and that's no respect to any of my other great friends that I have. He is the best human being I've ever met. He is a genuinely nice guy, very respectful. He was, my mother looks at him like another son, and his mom used to look at me the same way. We just get along really, really great. And I can say in the 46 plus years we've been friends, there's probably less than 5 minutes in which we were mad at each other. That's it. He's just a genuinely great guy, and one of a few really amazing friends that I've had for a lot of years. I've tried talking him into coming on the Clapper, but he actually works for a living, and then he's spending time with his family in Massachusetts. He comes to Virginia several times a year because his sisters and his brother live there. His brother still lives in a house that his mom owned when she passed away. And he goes there regularly to spend time. He's got one sister who has, I think she's got developing dementia. She doesn't always remember who he is anymore, and he's still there for her always. He's really a great guy. if I ever get him on here, you guys will get to know him, because I can't think, if I could be like anyone in my life I've ever met, I'd be like him. He's a much better person than I am, trust me on that. Yeah. I described my favorite meal to cook earlier before you came in, Ronan. It's a pork chop casserole my mother used to make, and she taught me to make. It's still my favorite meal that she makes, and she knows it. So, well, I haven't been to see her in 5 years, but last time I was there, she made a point to make it for me while I was there. Also, anything Italian. My mother is a wonderful Italian cook. You know, her mom was from the motherland. Her mom was born in Italy, so she learned it from the best. Well, yeah, Paul. I simmer the rice in the tomato sauce, green peppers, and such. Before I put it in a casserole dish, lay the pork chops and onions on top, and then bake it. And baking it cooks the rice the rest of the way. It absorbs the sauce, so it's not liquidy when you're done. I'll have to. I'll tell you what, Paul. I'll get the recipe, write it out, and I'll send you the recipe, and you can tell me how similar it is to what you do. If I could have 3 wishes granted, what would they be? First and foremost, that my children never want for things that they need to have in their lives. Not kids should not always be given just what they want. They should be given what they need, and occasionally given what they want. When I say my kids not want, I mean I don't want my kids to ever want for food, for a roof over their head, for things that we need in life. My second wish, being totally selfish, I would wish to have a big meetup with all my friends here in Clapper. All of them that want to go. Reliable transportation, that's always a good one, yeah. And my third wish, that because I am one of those people that believes that there's probably already a cure for cancer, but that the big pharma doesn't let the cure for cancer get out because there's much more money to be made in treating the symptoms, treating the, between the meds you give and the chemo and all that, too much money to be made to actually cure people. So my third wish would be to have a cure for cancer that's out there and being used. And I would love to meet you, Danny, and your wife. Hey, Tina, welcome in. I am the subject of my interview today, as Sean Hentz was unavailable, and I knew ahead of time, just not enough ahead of time to get a replacement. So we're questioning me today. So Tina, is there anything you'd like to ask of me? Personal, professional, Clapper related, it doesn't matter. And if it's a question somebody's already asked before you came in, I'll still answer it. You guys are going to love this. When I was a kid, when I grew up, and it's a very non-specific answer, but I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to put on a suit and go to work every day. Once I became an adult, all I've ever wanted, what I really wanted to be was a published author. I did a lot of writing in my life, never published anything until I wrote my poetry book when I was in my late 40s. And then I self-published that a couple years ago. So technically I'm a published author now, so I achieved that goal. My movie idol, I have to say it is actor Robert Duvall. And why is he my idol? Because he's my cousin. Distant, but not as I mean, he's a sixth cousin to my grandfather because that's his generation. But hey, truth, Robert Duvall is family, so that makes him my idol. I'd love to meet him. I don't want anything from him. I would just love to meet him and say, hey, we're family, and show him how we're related. He's an outstanding actor, Paul. I agree. All right, Truth, we're questioning BigTank today. If you have a question you want to ask on any topic about me, about Clapper, whatever, feel free to ask, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. Good question, Tina. Let me show you. Since I answered it before by saying the answer, this is my favorite color. My favorite color has been pink for more than 30 years. Color of underwear am I wearing? How bold of you to assume I'm wearing underwear, Truth. And the answer for that is white. Tina, real men aren't afraid of pink. They're not afraid to wear it. They're not afraid to admit that they like the color. And it's a pretty color. How can you not like pink? You know, to me, if a man says he doesn't like pink, I just think his masculinity is suspect. Oh, I do too, Truth. I used to own a pink dress shirt, but I outgrew it. I haven't replaced it in years, so I may own one again because I don't have any issues wearing pink. In fact, when Tabby there's a sort of like a food truck, only they don't ever move it, and they do catfish and all kind of seafood, and it's called Frank's Fish Shack here. So Tabby and I ordered T-shirts from them, and when they came in, it was one blue shirt and one pink shirt. So of course the blue shirt was for Tabby, and the pink one was for me. Eating a bucket of cheese. Oh, thank you, Truth. I appreciate it, brother. What kind of cheese, Tina? Okay. I like mac and cheese a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite things to eat. Thank you, Truth. I know a few people like that, Star. Are you lactose intolerant, or is it just cheese that doesn't agree with you? I honestly don't think so. Thank you for the gift, my friend. No beard, no birds hiding in the beard or anything. I may occasionally have a piece of food stuck in it, and she'll point it out. But nothing beyond that. But those of you that know me know I comb my beard often throughout the day, so nothing going to be stuck in it. Actually, when I did my Christmas live, I had 6 little ornaments clipped to my beard. So yes, Tina, I did. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Low metabolism, I understand that, Star. And Star and Tina, you guys are amongst my favorite artists, and I eventually hope to own a piece of your art. I hope to own a piece of everybody's art, at least one piece. My favorite famous artists, Michelangelo. If any advice I'd pass on to my younger self if I had a chance, yes, stop being an idiot. The best way to learn anything in life is open your ears and listen. And that goes in all aspects, you know. Any part of life, the best way to learn, you know, you want to know how to do something, talk to somebody that already does it and listen to what they tell you and take it to heart. And if you need to, take notes. You know, a lot of the lessons I learned in pleasing women came from listening to women, not from assuming because I'm a man I know what I'm doing. Because what I do, I know what feels good to me. I got to rely on the other person to say what feels good to them. At the bottom line, good communication is the basis for everything. And you can't learn anything if you don't listen. Listening is such an important thing, and a lot of men really need to learn that lesson. A lot of women too, but my favorite animal, American bald eagle. Should be surprised to nobody. I keep one behind my head. See? And we have like 3 or 4 that fly around over our house and the house across the street that nobody lives in. Almost like a pet, but not really. And I'm a dog person. We have 3 dogs, and I absolutely adore our pets, our dogs. I've done it in the past, Paul, and I will try again. Hey, Grace, welcome in. Today's interview subject is me because Sean Hintz was unavailable. So I am taking questions for Big Tank Talk today. So, Grace, if there's anything you'd like to know from me, today's a great opportunity. Welcome in, Kevin Ashley. Well, I'll give you a follow on this one then, as I remember the name, so. So, Grace, I'm asking you specifically, what question would you ask of me? My first 3 months, okay, one difference I'll give you right now between Navy boot camp and Marine Corps boot camp is the length. I know Marine Corps boot camp is 11 weeks, so basically 3 months. The Navy boot camp is 2 months. And Navy boot camp is not as physically demanding as Marine Corps boot camp either. I actually enjoyed the running and the physical stuff we did, and when I went to boot camp, I was much younger, much better shape, and the physical stuff was not real demanding for me. The hardest part I had with it, and I think it's the hardest part of anybody has with it, but it's a necessary part, is having the people get in your face and scream at you. But I understand, and I even understood then, what they're doing is breaking everybody down individually and then bringing them back up as a team. Because the military, you really have to work together and have to depend on each other. And you can't do that if you got a company with 85 men and 85 different agendas. So how was that answer, Grace? I hope it was helpful. My favorite age to be, from how I feel physically, a teenager. Just Grace, I've told you before, number one, he'll be fine. And because you raised a good young man, and have faith in that you raised a good young man. And I think he'll get along just fine in Marine Corps boot camp, and he'll be a good Marine. My favorite age to be got to be teenager, Star. Because in my teen years, I didn't hurt. I was very physically active, played a lot of sports. And I still had the world, my whole life ahead of me. I kind of enjoy some aspects of being my age now, but the constantly having pain is not an enjoyable part of it. Well, who in the world? All right, so Cleveland Chiafoni. I'm not bringing anybody up today. I'm being interviewed by questions in the chat. So although you put your hand up, I'm not bringing you up. You may feel free to put it down. Welcome in, Cat Burglar Judy. I don't know you, but I assume you know Grace. Thank you, Kevin. I love you guys too. Well, that's what the comment section is for. What advice would I give to someone struggling with mental health and anxiety? Anxiety, for people with anxiety, you really need to see a doctor, a professional. But it's just somebody who's struggling with mental health. A couple of things. One, get out of your own head. Most of us, that's not a good place to be. In fact, I learned that lesson years ago. I even wrote a poem about it. Being in my own head is a really, really dark and scary place for me to be, so I don't. So you find ways to keep yourself from getting into that dark place that you know is there. Would I rather be deaf, blind, or mute? Well, I'm part Italian, so if you tie my hands, I'm probably rendered pretty mute anyway. But of the three, I would choose deaf. I would learn to read lips so I could still talk to people. I love to talk, as you guys probably have guessed, so I couldn't be mute. That would kill me. And I'm clumsy enough with good eyesight. And these are just reading glasses. Don't be fooled by them. I would hate to be blind. Cat Burglar Judy, I gave you a follow as well. And Star, I already wear a hearing aid, so my hearing is already going. So if I had to choose one, that's the closest one to where I'm really at anyway. All right, while there's no questions currently pending, I will take this time and let you all know. My interview subject next week is, my guest is Tiki Talks. It's Captain Joe, for those of you that know him. He is a great guy, and I'm really looking forward to having him here and interviewing him. So I hope you guys will join me next week. That is the 23rd of March at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Who is my biggest inspiration in terms of being so multi-talented? Well, how nice of you to say I'm multi-talented. One of my biggest inspirations is right here in the chat with us, and that would be Ronan. Ronan is a wonderful singer. He's a great musician, plays guitar, the bass, and the drums. He's a songwriter, and he's really just a great all-around human being, multi-talented, and it's truly an honor to call him my friend. Another person, if I had to choose another person that's here on Clapper, that's multi-talented, it would be ASE car guy, Jeff. Jeff is an auto mechanic. He is an amazing woodsmith. He does great things with wood. He's got a wonderful sense of humor, and he's also a multi-talented person. So Ronan and ASE car guy are two great individuals. Multi-talented, and you definitely should be following both of them. And that's not take anything from you, Grace, or Star. Star is a really awesome artist. Grace is an amazing author. So many talented people I've met on here. I'm really, really appreciative of having to meet all of you. I'm sorry you guys are still sick, Star. I'd say, Cat, Burglar, Judy, take this answer, my initial answer with a grain of salt, and then I'll explain it. You say, are people, let me read it out loud so I can get it right. Are people born inherently good or bad, or is morality entirely shaped by experience? My answer to that is absolutely yes. Now, to explain it, I do think a small number of people, despite their upbringing, the morality they were raised with, are just inherently not good people. I also believe there's some people that are just inherently good people despite their circumstance. Now, does that mean we can't raise above our circumstance? Absolutely not. But morality, your experiences, the circumstances you grow up in, I think that does have a lot to do with how good or bad a person you are. But a lot of it is just something internal in us as people. There are some people who have wonderful upbringings and become murderers. How do you justify that? Just some people just have it in them. Some people don't. I don't know if that answers the question you asked, Kat, but that's the best answer I could come up with it. To a large degree, I agree with you, Star. I just believe some people, even when their circumstances are good, still fall through the cracks and do horrible things. And there are people who grow up in horrible circumstances, but yet are become great, awesome people as adults. It's a combination of your environment, your upbringing, and genetics, I think. And I'm no expert, so don't quote me on it, but that's the way I see it. All right, guys, one more question before I wrap it up. So somebody throw one more question out there. Wonderful seeing you, Grace. I appreciate you popping in here. That's a fact, Ronan. Welcome in, Ralph. All right, any more questions, y'all? I'll take one more. Grace is awesome, Kat. And I read her first book, loved it. And as soon as I can, I'll get the second book and read that one too. What advice for my audience today? All right, here we go. My advice is to be honest. First of all, be honest and be yourself. And if being yourself means that you rub people the wrong way, everybody rubs somebody the wrong way, so don't take it personal. What other people think of us, it's not our business anyway. You know, you're going to have people in your life that are always there for you, that will support you in everything you do. Embrace that. But don't expect everybody to love you because somebody else does. We all have haters. We all have people that are, you're going to have people that hate you because they want to be in the situation you're in. Just be who you are. It shouldn't, to me, it shouldn't take effort to be kind, but be kind. It's no cost to being kind, and you don't know what other people are going through. So, consider that you don't know what they're going through. Some people, there's a reason that comedians, people that make you laugh and smile the most, are often the most lonely people. You'd never know it because they're always saying stuff that makes you smile, makes you laugh, makes you feel good. But that's so they don't have to let you know what's really going on inside. And you don't really, and often you don't know until they do something tragic. My closing words, tell people about the app. Everything is engagement on here. If you do engagement, that means go to other people's content, like, comment, share. Most of those people will go to your content and do the same. Now, having said that, post original content as much as you can. If you want to use something that's not original, add something to it that makes it original. And give credit. If, like say if I wanted to do something with a video that say Grace made, I would take that video, add my part to it, whether it's just commentary after the fact, but then also credit her for the original content. And that's just the right thing to do. Anything less than that, if you're using somebody's content, you're not crediting them for it, and you're not adding anything to it, then you're stealing it. That's stolen content, and stolen content is just ignorant. Welcome in, Ankles. I'm sorry, but I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Guys, I appreciate the questions today. Like I said, we should have Tiki Talks here next week. I will reschedule Sean Hentz for a future time, future date. And of course, keep an eye out. I will release videos letting you know who's coming the following week. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you guys around Clapper.